Afternoon and welcome to Go Live. Hello, Sam.
How you doing?
I'm doing okay for an introvert.
I don't know that many people would think of you that way, but it's interesting that you think of yourself that way.
Well, I think that would be what an introvert would do, right?
We know for sure that I am not an introvert.
You are definitely not an introvert. So if you read the promo, you know exactly what we're talking about. If you didn't read the promo, you're like, what on earth are the two of them talking about? Yeah. Today's show is about introverts and how even though if you consider yourself an introvert or if you don't consider yourself an introvert, you can make it big in this industry that typically thinks you need to be very outgoing, you need to be an extrovert in order to be successful in this business. And no. Our special guest today is going to prove us wrong or prove you wrong.
Otherwise,
Otherwise, I guess is the way to say that. Because this industry, you can be all kinds of things.
Yes.
You can approach this business from all different perspectives.
Yes.
And find success. And so we're going to get into that in just a little bit.
Absolutely.
And we're very grateful that Nicole is going to be joining us. But before we do, we have a couple of announcements. I think you have some really important announcements we want to share. And then we have this special new programming that is coming out from the brand that I want to share in just a moment too.
Yeah, so I have two things from the kind of broker compliance perspective, kind of the boring stuff that I want to share with you. But it's really important that you know this. First is the legal look back. So occasionally when you submit a transaction, and because we have such a large footprint, we're now St. Louis Obispo, great job, Brent, and Santa Maria, all the way down to here, the Mexican border. So we've sold a lot of real estate over the years in that footprint, and there's a high likelihood where you might be in a transaction, whether you're representing the buyer or seller, where in the past, we were involved in that transaction as a brokerage. Could be that it's a past client of yours, but it's not out of the realm of possibility where someone within our ecosystem represented that particular transaction. And so if we have a file from that previous transaction, the law here in California requires us to pull all of those disclosures and to put it into your transaction file so that you provide that to the buyer. Regardless of whether you're representing the buyer or you're representing the seller, if we place those into your operating file, we do have an obligation to forward those on to the buyer, right? And so this is not something that is an internal policy. It's actually a DRE requirement. And the trigger is whether or not we actually possess the file, right? And so whether we have it digitally or in some of our storage for when we used to have files on paper. We don't have many of those left, but we still do in certain circumstances. Either way, we pull those documents, and we're typically pulling the inspection reports, the transfer disclosure statement, the seller property questionnaire, and anything else that would have material fact that the buyer should know about. Now, sometimes this creates some friction. Understand that it is a risk management thing that California has put forth, both to help protect sellers and making sure that sellers are giving all of the information to the buyers, but also to protect the buyers so that they're fully aware of what's happening. Now, if we don't have a file on it, then there's nothing to hand over, right? So that's the important thing. Right. And sometimes these files can feel like they're old and they seem irrelevant, but the reality is if we possess them, we have to turn them over. So
right. Yeah. I mean, I remember some cases the home had been completely remodeled, taken down to the studs and remodeled. The disclosures were worthless, but we still had to turn them over. So
yeah, and so for those of you that are with our brokerage, especially if you take a listing and you want to check to see if we were involved in a transaction on that particular property at that address, you can just shoot us an email and we're happy to check in the records, and that way you can be proactive in this. Okay. Yeah. And so that's number one. The second one, it has to do with AI. And so I realize that on this show and on many other shows that I'm a part of, AI has become a big conversation. In fact, we teach with the wonderful Christina Collignon and Sharan and Christina Miller. They're constantly providing content to you on how to leverage AI. The one area that I need you to be very cautious of, and I'm asking you not to use AI on, is when it comes to negotiating contracts with buyers and sellers, right? So specifically, please don't upload a purchase agreement that you received from a buyer or a counteroffer that you received from a seller, and then ask the AI to give you a response or to analyze that offer. AI gets things wrong frequently. And unless you are really going through everything with a fine-tooth comb and you're reviewing all of the content on there compared to what is actually on the contract itself, AI is going to miss something. And recently, so many of us here on the risk management team participate in many broker meetings and broker town halls in the state. And one big thing that did come up, and I won't share, I'll spare the names to protect the not so innocent, I suppose, that they shared with us that their agent used AI to upload an inspection report. Mm-hmm. And instead of reviewing the inspection report with the client themselves and asking the client, what would you like? They ran it through AI and asked AI to pull out the most important things. And of course, AI missed what the buyer thought was most important, and it was never addressed. And now there's a claim and a lawsuit as a result of using that AI product and not covering some of the most important things that are there. So AI is a great solution. I love it. I use it every single day, but there is a limit to where you should be using that. And you should not be using it to create contracts for you. You should not be using it to give you legal advice. You should not be using it to help with disclosures or anything of that nature, because eventually it'll catch up to you.
Right.
And we don't want that to happen. All right. So AI, yes, for everything else, but when it comes to contracts and legalities and things like that, no on the AI.
Yeah.
Okay.
Unfortunately, we have something better than AI. We have our own legal team.
That's right.
If you need legal support, don't go to AI. We've got Stella, we got Jeff, we got you.
Yes, we have you have an army of legal minds that are here to help you. Yeah. So use us.
We have all of our branch managers to help you with your requests for repairs.
Yes, so, absolutely.
Yeah, we got people. All right. Well, my announcement's a little bit less daunting.
Sorry.
We get the fun stuff. So we got an email this morning from the brand, from HSF, that they are launching something that they're calling Home Field Advantage. So it's kind of fun. So it is a special show, a special original video series that the brand is doing. You may remember, Sam, that last year we put out a sports and entertainment division.
Yes.
And so this is kind of dovetailing in that they're putting out a video series, home ownership journey, following some athletes. So this is just the beginning of what I assume will be other home ownership journeys with some sports entertainment individuals. And they're starting off their series, interestingly enough, with some flag football athletes.
Well, it's the season.
It's the season, I suppose.
For flag football, yeah.
I guess. And then they're going to follow that up with actual NFL players, right?
Yes.
So starting tomorrow, 9:00 on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok, and YouTube, you will get to see the first posts of some of these. And we have a quick little video that we're going to show.
All right. Home field advantage. Mm-hmm. I like it.
There you go.
Right.
I'm really proud. I know it was a number of years ago that our own marketing team here at California Properties, we saw the power of influencers, and we hired some influencers and we followed them on their home purchasing journey. And it was quite successful for us here. In fact, I think California Properties won a marketing award for that. So we're doing the same thing here at the brand, and the brand is following some professional athletes as they go through their home purchasing journey. So pretty
really
cool.
Good stuff. Yeah.
So watch out for that.
Yeah.
Okay, so without further ado, let's get our panel or our guest speaker to join us. It's Nicole Taranto. I believe that's how you pronounce her last name. And what's unique about her, other than the fact that she's like me as an introvert, she's joining us from Montana. She's with Berkshire Hathaway Montana Properties. So thank you for joining us, Nicole. I really appreciate you taking your time to spend with us this afternoon. And we don't often get folks from outside of our Southern California footprint, outside of our California Properties
Yeah.
family. So before we jump into the topic, I'd love if you shared a little bit about yourself and a little bit about your market, because I know we have a lot of synergy between Southern California and other parts of the United States. And so if we have anyone who's going to be working with someone moving into your area, let's make sure that they know a little bit about your market and a little bit on how to get a hold of you so that they know how to do that. So tell us a little about yourself and about your market.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. It's Toronto is how you say my last
Okay.
name. I get Tarantino, I get all kinds of different things. So Nicole's fine. So I am from New Jersey originally, but I've grown up here since I was 10 years old. So I've been here quite a while now. And like you said, we do have quite a bit of folks from California that move here regularly. It's consistently the top three states that are moving into Montana. So if you wanted to reach me, my Instagram has all my information. It's at Nicole Knows Bozeman. That's a really easy way to get in touch with me. And then I believe they posted my contact information in the chat as well. So I grew up here and then I went to college a few hours away in Montana, Missoula, and went to culinary school actually. So that was the path I thought I was going to be taking. And then once I graduated from culinary school, I had a little food cart in Missoula for a few years, planned on turning that into a restaurant, and then had the opportunity to move back to be closer to my family. I'm incredibly close with my family, so I jumped at that opportunity and decided the food cart wasn't going to come along. So my dad, who's a builder, actually was the one to suggest real estate, and it was an opportunity for me to work closely with my dad and my brother, who was working with him at the time and had no idea what I was getting myself into. But I said, yeah, let's do that. So moved back, took the real estate class the same week, passed that, and then I interviewed with Berkshire Hathaway. And 10 years ago in June, rest is history. So it's definitely been a total pivot from what I was doing, but I think being self-employed with the food cart was very important for me having to be a self-starter with this business. So in
Right.
some ways it was definitely a benefit to start that first. So
Very good. So
yeah.
let's talk a little bit about the market though. What does the market in Montana look like? Price point? How fast is the market moving?
Right.
What does the average home look like?
So in Bozeman, we are a bit of an anomaly from the rest of the state. There is a lot of demand in this area and in Big Sky, which is an hour south of us, that has definitely increased our price point. So 2019 pre-COVID, average sales price in this area was about 450, and right now we're about 940 for was median
Wow.
price for June. Um, we see a lot of relocation, a lot of second homes. We definitely have first-time home buyers and the local population trying to buy, but the prices have definitely increased substantially. So right now we have 4 or 5 homes under 500,000 in our market, but that is pretty rare to see anything under half a million. That's single family. Right now, anything over 2 million is still doing very well. We have lots of activity, lots of buyers and interest. Everything between about 750 to 1.5 is sitting a little bit longer. That's just kind of your average home buyer in our market, and so they're going to be more sensitive to interest rates and just the price in general. Our average median or our average household income as of this year just hit over 100,000. So
Wow.
having that as your income and then trying to buy a home at the average price in the market is just not quite penciling. So there
Yeah.
are some challenges with that. But I would say um, if you are coming from California, Washington, Texas, Idaho, Colorado, that's where we see a lot of our relocation buyers coming in from. You'll see a mix of types of homes. You'll have some who want that quintessential Montana home, more traditional feeling, a lot of wood. You'll see a lot of reclaimed lumber. So we have that, but then we also have quite a bit of contemporary design here these days. So I feel like there's a little bit for everybody. You won't see a lot of like stucco homes, but they are here. So it's kind of becoming more of a melting pot with architecture and the design that you see here.
Interesting. Well, you certainly know your product. You certainly know your market. So
Yeah.
good on you.
Bravo. I mean,
It's my job.
well, and I love your opening analogy or your experience of the cart and candidly just being in the restaurant business because I don't think a lot of people fully appreciate what it takes to be in the real restaurant business and how, I often will share an example with people that are starting a real estate business. Like if you opened a pizzeria, when you first open that shop, you are not only the shopkeeper, you're the dough maker, you're the cash register, you're running to get
The
ingredients,
marketer.
right?
Yep.
Everything
All the
all
hats.
rolled into one, right? And so having that experience is obvious why you are so successful there in Montana. And so for those of you that may not know, or if you think Nicole looks familiar, she's been a guest on the Quick Win Collective on Fridays a couple of times, I think now 3 or 4 times. And she just does a fantastic job. And so I know you've got a presentation for us very specifically on how to, love on your clients and a lot of the different things that you do from the perspective of being an introverted agent, somebody that's not necessarily going to work a room where you don't know anybody in it, and you're definitely not a cold caller or a door knocker. And so we really loved your approach, and we wanted to have you on so you can share kind of what you do.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm definitely not your typical person that I think people expect to see in sales. I, one of the things that makes me the happiest is when I get to cancel plans and not have to leave my house. I'm sure a lot of people who are introverted can relate to that. But you do have to put yourself out there in some capacity in this business. You have to get outside of your comfort zone. But if you can find things that work with that personality type, I think you're more likely to be successful in being consistent with them because getting outside of your comfort zone for some things is fine, but if you have to do it for every aspect of your business, I just don't think it's sustainable. So these
Right.
are things that have definitely worked for me to be consistent.
Awesome.
So before you pull up your presentation, though, Nicole, before we were talking earlier about what you would have said to yourself 10 years ago, what you've learned today that
Mhm.
you wish you'd known 10 years ago. Can you share that real quick before we start with your PowerPoint?
Yeah, I think probably the biggest thing I would tell myself 10 years ago is how important consistency is. There are so many things out there that are always trying to attract you bright and shiny, right? And I have always been that person that feels like, oh, that next great thing is what's going to make it for me. And that's just not how it is. You have to pick something that works for you and be consistent with it. Assume it's all a long game. So that's probably a huge one. And then the other thing would be I would have been wanting to tell myself, be better about saving people's information, following up with them. It took me kind of a few years to get into a rhythm where I actually feel like I keep in touch with people. I don't lose contact information. And I think it's hard to know until you're doing it that you really need to keep up on that.
Okay. All right. Good advice.
All right.
All right, let me share this really quickly. Okay. Oh, let me move this so I can see. Okay,
Yep,
there
we
we
got
go.
your full screen.
All right. So this program, if you've seen Quick Win Collective, I have talked about this a couple times, but I just think it's a really fantastic program for anyone really, and in that idea of consistency, but especially if you're introverted, it's a great way to stay in front of the people in your sphere without having to reach out to people every day or what feels like a lot. So it's called LOLO, Local Supporting Locals. And I know that there's quite a few throughout the country now. It's one company, and then they've branched out to many different markets. So they approached our office in Bozeman when they were new to our market because we are the largest brokerage here. So we kind of took a gamble on it, and I think it's been fantastic. So basically, what they do is they partner with us. We provide our contact list for our own individual gifts. And then they do the work of going out and meeting the vendors and the businesses that are local that are willing to give some sort of coupon or discount or something like that to our clients and sphere. So every month we send out a gift and we pay the same amount every month per client or per person. And then the business, when they go to redeem it, they are giving either something for free or a discount of some sort. And so you're really not only staying in front of your own people, but you're benefiting and helping to support a local business. So
Nice.
they offer it for a bunch of different businesses, but I think the real estate space makes a lot of sense for something like this.
Yeah, and there are a number of different regions that are available. So if you go onto their website, you'll be able to search through
Yeah.
those regions and you'll find them there. Yeah.
I like it's because it's a flat monthly fee, so you know what to anticipate,
Yep.
and
Exactly.
it's consistent. There's your word again.
Consistent. Yes, consistency is key. So it also gives you opportunity to reach out to people without actually you having to do it. It's all automated. So before the gift is sent out, and for me, it's sent out around the 18th of every month, kind of the week of that date. So before that happens, I get an email from Lolo saying, "Hey, here's the gift for the month that we've determined." And then if you need to make any changes to your list, like say it's alcohol you get a bottle of wine somewhere. If you have a client who doesn't drink and you know that, you can remove them from the list for that month specifically. So just whatever reason you want to modify it, you can do that. But it gives you a heads up of here's what it's going to be about a week before it goes out. Then the day it goes out, the people on your list get an email and a text notification. So the email and the text look pretty much the same, but it's just reaching out to them in two different ways, tells them what the gift is. It's branded with your information, which I'll show you here in a second, and then tells them how they can redeem it. If they haven't done anything with it after 10 days, they get a reminder. And then as you can see here, there's expiration reminders as well. And it lasts longer than 30 days. So even though it's for that month, you can still utilize it even after the next month's gifts has been sent to you. And you get enough touch points that it'd be pretty hard to not remember to use it. I actually sent one to myself because I wanted to see what it looked like, but I'm like, I think it's great to be able to use it yourself, take a picture for social media, make a video,
Yeah.
whatever you want to do. How can I use this more and branch out further? So you get quite a bit of touch points that way. A great thing that you can do by knowing what the program is ahead of time is maybe you send out a weekly or a monthly email. Maybe you do videos to your sphere, whatever that might look like. You could reach out to those people and say, "Hey, the this month we're going to be offering a free coffee at XYZ. I'm going to be there on Monday the 5th from 3 to 5. I would love it if you could stop in and redeem your free coffee at that time. If you have any questions about real estate, I'm happy to help out. Or if you just want to say hi, I would love to see you there." So it gives you another way to reach out to people and say, "Hey, let's get together," but no pressure if it doesn't work. And people love free stuff. So it's never invasive, in my opinion. I haven't had anybody be like, "I don't want free things." So
And
it's
it's a
worked out for me.
smart, efficient use of your time.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Nicole, if I remember correctly, you didn't actually start with Lolo. You actually kind of manually did this yourself, right? To a certain extent. And then you leaned on Lolo because it got to be that you just had so many past clients, right? It got to be a little bit overwhelming, right?
So, what I was doing prior to this was every year I would send every client a card at some point once a year, and it had a coffee card in there. And it just said, "Hey, I'm thinking about you. I hope things are going well. Here, have a coffee on me." And it was usually $10 coffee card. And so, that, if you think about it, the more clients you have, that adds up really quickly.
Very quickly.
This campaign, I pay $1.35 per person per month. And so realistically, it's similar to that one coffee card, but instead of one letter, I'm reaching out to them every single month, multiple times a month. And it's not necessarily just coffee. There's lots of different things that they're getting, and the price still stays extremely low for me. So I think it's a win-win. I do a kind of, I call it my personalization profile when I have a new client. I ask them to take kind of it's a Google form, and it just asks them about their life, trying to get to know what they like, unique questions that are not at all related to real estate, so I can get a sense of who they are. I ask them what their favorite coffee or tea drink is, so I can bring it to closing with me unprompted. And so I would try to remember those things, put it in my CRM. And then throughout the year, if something comes up, I know who likes those things. I send them a little gift, a little coffee card. Maybe if they're having a bad day, send them crumble cookies because I know that they love crumble cookies. Just whatever it might be. Fill in the gap when you see a need. So this has kind of, not that I've stopped doing that, but this is just more consistent.
Yeah, absolutely. And do you mind sharing with us that Google form that you send out? How early in the process do you send that out? And uh, do you find that most people actually take the time to fill out? Because if I remember correctly, it's quite a bit. You ask a lot of questions in there. And so I'm curious to know how many people actually follow through and fill it all out for you, and how do you tee that up for them?
It does have quite a few questions on there. I typically send it out after the first meeting, for both sellers or buyers. People are not good about doing it right away. You can figure out personality types very quickly based on who fills it out. So if they don't fill it out when I send it out through the email, I send them I have a buyer's guide and a seller handbook. So I'll send out that along with the Google form and ask them to fill it out. I preface it by saying, I want this to be a tailored experience to you. So if you could please take a few minutes to fill this out, it just helps me serve you better and make it more personalized. And so if they don't fill it out on their own, then when I meet the buyers in person to fill out the paperwork, I will go through that with them before we talk about what they're looking for with real estate.
Hmm.
If it's a seller, then it just kind of depends on when we meet again. When's the most appropriate time? So I would say type A personalities, fill it out with one half. Everybody else needs a little help. But it tells you a lot
Other
about who
people
you're
need a
working
little
with.
bit of nudging along the
Exactly.
way, right?
Exactly.
That's fair. And so when the nudging for you is you literally sit with them and you just open it on your phone and you start asking them the questions and you fill it out?
So when I'm meeting a buyer for the first time, I want to meet them in the office, sit down, I give them a hard copy of my buyer handbook, and then we fill out all the paperwork. And I've most likely have already sent them copies of that paperwork before the meeting, but I like to sit down in person, go through it. I've never had somebody not want to sign a contract with me after sitting down in person. I feel like it's easy to feel hesitant to do that with somebody you don't know over email or
Yes.
when you're talking on the phone. But once you meet in person, especially in the office, they recognize you as the professional. So in person, I usually print it out because I like to handwrite. I'm paperless for everything else, but for that, I like to fill it out by hand. So I'll print that out along with the paperwork that they're going to sign. And then we just go through that after the paperwork. And it's a nice segue into talking about what they're looking for in a home because now I know a little bit about their life. And so it's easier for them to transition into what they're looking for in a house in a
I,
more comfortable way.
I love that idea because we've gone from a very legal,
Hmm.
impersonal
Yes.
contract to just immediately segue into now tell me what you want in a house, right? This is like
Yeah.
a nice transition into the human, the
Right.
personality, and now into their lifestyle.
Well, and then I've had the good fortune of actually seeing her form. And she asks like really personal
Mhm.
questions that have nothing to do necessarily with owning a home or selling a home. And that's why I would consider you an expert gift giver now.
Right.
Um,
I want to tailor it. I don't want to get the same thing for everybody.
Mhm.
yeah, that's amazing. All right, you have another slide. So sorry, we
Moving
promised
on.
we wouldn't interrupt, and here we are
Oh,
We're
no,
interrupting.
geeking
please do.
out.
Please
Yeah.
do. I'm happy to answer questions. So this is just what it looks like when somebody gets an email. So the one on the left, is the email or that I received before it's sent out to the client. It just tells me, here's what it's going to be. So on this one, it was a free drink at a place called 40 SIP. Our area code is 406, hence the name.
Hmm.
And then the ones on the right are what you see as the person receiving the gift. So the text message at the top, if you click that link, it takes you to the exact same page that you would see in your email. So you can click on it. They do a little background on on whatever the business is, so you learn a little bit more about it if you haven't been there before. It's branded, as you can see, to you individually. It tells you when it expires, and then you can hit redeem in there as well. And then when you go to whatever business it is, you can hit redeem. There's a barcode, or depending on what the business is, it's tailored to them. And then I get notified when somebody redeems it. So you can reach out right then. They
Mm.
are prompted to thank you. So if they want to, they can send you a thank you right then and there, or you can reach out to them and just say, "Hey, I hope you loved it," or "What did you get? Like, did you try something new?" Whatever comes to mind.
That is
Did
fantastic.
you say that it's $1.35 per person per month?
$1.35.
That is insane.
Yeah.
There
So
she
you
is.
can see here, this is on the back end of it. So when I'm looking at it, this is an example of what has happened in the past. So you can see it's all a variety of things. So a beer from a local brewery, $10 at a local market, a drink and a sandwich at a restaurant, $10 at a local chocolate company. So it's a really big variety. The one last month was a free yoga class. So it really varies. You can see how many were delivered, how many people have interacted with it, how many times, and then you have the score to see who's utilizing this. And not everyone's going to redeem them, but
Sure.
I see it as it's still a touch point. They might not have redeemed the coffee card either, but now at least I'm talking to them every month. And
Yeah.
then you can see when it was delivered, when it was opened, when it was clicked, who's utilizing texts over email. So it does give you quite a bit of information for insight into who's using it and how.
So, Nicole, how does one make it onto this list to the extent that you're paying $1.35 a month for them?
So anyone who has referred me business, whether they're a client or not, will be on
Okay.
the list. Close sphere. Like I said, I even send it to myself for a dollar
Yeah.
35. How could you not? Like, I pay a dollar 35 for this cup of coffee as opposed to $6 or $7.
Yeah, good point.
So close sphere, top clients, referral partners. And I do have, it's a little over 100 people. I think it's 108 now. I'm not going to go crazy with it. I feel like you want people to you want a good relationship for these folks. You don't want to just do it for anybody.
So
Um,
it's not a circumstance where you have the QR code up at an open house and telling people,
Correct.
join my list, right? You're very selective. There has
Yeah.
to be a very specific reason.
Yeah, now
And
anytime I have a new client, I add them to this list. That's part of my checklist for any new client. But to stay on the list, we have to keep in contact or
oh,
be
that's a
a
good
referral
point.
partner or sphere. So I'm not
So
just
do
going to
you
send
do
you
you take
presents
people off
forever.
the list?
I have taken people off the list, yeah.
Really?
That's why you were taken off the list then.
Yeah, this
There
is
are
right.
not there are not many people that I don't want to work with again, but there are some.
Very interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's great. That's
Yeah.
really, really
So
good.
the QR code up there is just if anyone's interested in looking into Lolo, that takes you to their website so you can do a little bit of your own research on it.
That's
In
amazing.
case someone in our audience haven't noticed, Christina did, yeah, that she's doing it again. Lolo is in the chat. We put the link to the website in the chat. So,
Yep. That's amazing.
and I did notice, Sam, there's a San Diego.
Yeah, yeah. So, and that was I was going to ask you because I know you've done these presentations all over the country for us, and I know that they obviously don't cover every nook and cranny of the country. Have you gotten any awareness as if Lolo's not currently in that marketplace, is there a way for an agent to be able to help Lolo kind of break into that? Do you have any awareness about that?
You can absolutely reach out to them if you are interested in them coming to your market. For our purposes, there was a minimum. It wasn't a number of agents interested, it was a number of contacts that they needed to have. And I
Got it.
want to say it was 750. So,
Oh, okay.
however many agents it takes to get to 750 contacts, then it's viable for them to make it work for our market. I don't know
Okay.
if that varies. But I would say it can't hurt to reach out to them and say, hey, I'm interested, and see what they come back with. Because all I had to do was say, yes, I'm in for X number of contacts, and then they got everything set up, and I just got the login information, uploaded my contact list, and off to the races. It was very
Okay.
simple.
And so you upload like a CSV file or something like that with the minimum requirements there. And yeah, in San Diego, it looks like they're already well
Yep.
established. We have a really, really big footprint. I think we cover, gosh,
6 counties.
and 500 miles
Yep.
of coastal California. And so there's lots of communities within there. And I think we'll probably after today's show, we probably have a lot of agents interested in.
We're going to do the research.
Yeah, absolutely.
Stay tuned, guys.
Yeah, very cool.
Nicole, you get your commission.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. So moving on from Lolo, just something I do a little bit differently. I know a lot of people love to do Thanksgiving pies, and I love dessert, so I would love to get a free Thanksgiving pie as well. But with my culinary background, I inevitably am the one in charge of desserts for my family's Thanksgiving every year. So what I started doing very early on in my career was baking my own Thanksgiving desserts. And at first it was just one option, and now it's two options, but now I'm breaking into the gluten-free and
All those Californians moving
specializing.
up to the
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Montana.
But every year, the day after Halloween, I send out an email to the people on the list, past clients, referral partners, not exactly the same people as the Lolo group, but similar.
Hmm.
Um, and so basically I send out this Google form, say, hey, it's that time again. Which dessert would you like? And then in the past, I used to deliver them to everyone's doorstep, and it just got to the point, some years there's higher numbers than others to the point where I just can't deliver them all in the time that I have. Um,
Yeah.
and so now I do pick up at my office, and this year I'm going to do kind of like a cocktail hour. So it'll be
Oh,
from 4 to 6. I'll have some beverages or whatever it might be, and invite people to come in and get their dessert then. What I love about this is I just buy boxes and ribbon and even the pans on Amazon. So I make either a bread pudding or a pumpkin crumb cake. Once it's done, I package them. I put a little Thanksgiving card on there, and I need to be better about taking photos because I don't. This is all I have is this one video, so I'll take pictures this year. Um, Write them a little Thanksgiving card and write what kind of dessert it is on the box. And then when they come in and take it, it looks like it came from a bakery. And a lot of people are starting to bring this to somebody's Thanksgiving that they've been invited to. And so I see it as now it's a conversation starter because my realtor gave me this dessert and she made it. And
oh, that's amazing.
I just think that adds a little bit of an extra level as opposed to a Costco Thanksgiving pumpkin pie, which is still great. And if that's what works for you, so be it. But for this, for me and my purposes, this is something I really enjoy doing. And so I do this every year, the weekend before Thanksgiving. I just bake all weekend. And then the week of Thanksgiving is people coming and picking up desserts.
Very cool.
Bread pudding, please.
Yeah, I know.
Yes,
I think
it's
this is how,
phenomenal.
yeah, I think this is how Marie Callender got her start.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I have
Uh,
one client and I put his text up there. He will text me throughout the year and be like, it's only 5 more months until I get that bread pudding. And so he sent me that text last year and he's like, I got it. So
I
yeah,
know.
so some people really love it.
I don't mean to offend you with this next comment, but you this has become the McRib of your area, right? Like it's only coming out.
One time a year.
If I'm known for the bread pudding, I'm okay with that. I will take
That-
it. It
I
really is
love it.
great.
The pumpkin crumb cake sounds really interesting, but I am a sucker.
This is a real estate show. Let me just remind the two of you, okay? Come
Hey,
on.
food is love. Food is
Okay,
love.
all right, all right.
We were at a family gathering over the weekend, and they wanted to do trivia, and I'm really bad at trivia. But then they had the culinary category of trivia, and I was on it.
Yeah.
I knew everything.
Even if you can't cook, everybody's got to eat. So it's
Yeah,
something we all have in common.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Amen. All
Yeah,
right,
for
very good.
sure.
They also have a place to live. Okay, back to real estate.
Yeah, you have to have somewhere to put that food. So, another thing I tried this year that went fantastically, and I will be doing it every year moving on, or at least for the next few years, we'll see how it goes. I like you were saying before, not everybody's going to work a room. and where are your strengths and for your personality type. For me, I like to be the hostess. It keeps my hands and my mind busy, but I still get to interact, but it's
Yeah.
not too much at one time. So that's what works for me. So I try to find activities that I can be the hostess in that scenario. So this year, right before Valentine's Day, I did a Galentine's event. So I think I invited 40 women in my sphere, either sphere or clients, that I thought would all enjoy something like this. I went and bought a bunch of different types of flowers. This was upstairs at our office, where we do our sales meetings. So I connected all the tables. So it was one long table by the kitchen, put butcher paper down, put a bunch of flowers out, bought twine and paper to wrap it, and then I dipped strawberries and I bought donuts and champagne, and I just sent out invitations to these ladies, and I just said, you don't have to stay for the whole thing, but I would love for you to stop by, make a bouquet for yourself to bring home, have some drinks and a strawberry or two before you go home for the evening. And I had a fantastic turnout. Some people stayed for the whole thing. Some people came in for 15 minutes, had a couple strawberries, made a bouquet, and then were on their way. But I got to see everybody. I got to say hi to everybody. It was quick. There was no pressure for people. They didn't feel like they had to stay the whole time. And it went really, really well. And so I will be doing this again next year for sure.
That's amazing. That's
Great.
great. Simple, but thoughtful, just wonderful.
I like the idea of being the hostess, like having a purpose.
Yes.
You're not in front of a large group talking, having a presentation. So the introvert in you doesn't have to freak out.
Yeah.
But you're staying
Exactly.
busy. You're staying busy and you're interacting. My little secret, and Allison Jones, if she's watching, she knows this. When we have an event, this was back in the day when I was the VP, I would always position myself at the front door,
Yes.
handing out drink tickets, because it gave me an opportunity to do something.
Right.
And I'd also meet people as they were walking in.
Yes.
And so I got a chance to see everybody as they came in, but I didn't have to be in front of the large group at one time.
Yeah.
That was my be the
That's
hostess.
perfect.
Yep.
And you're a
I
good
think
host
that's
too.
a key thing for sure.
Yeah.
Find
Yeah.
a job.
Yeah. And that makes sense. I would say, now that you guys have said it, that you're right. Introverts make great hosts. They really, really do. That's amazing.
I think
Thank you,
so.
Nicole.
Yeah.
absolutely.
I hadn't necessarily connected the two, but that's great. And host more events so people like me can go and
And eat.
run the room.
You can eat. Okay.
No, that's fantastic. That is great. So take us through like what other events that you do that you plan out the year, because I know that you do 3 or 4 events. You try to do 3 or 4 events a year, right?
I'm trying to do 3 or 4 a year. It has changed pretty. I don't have anything that I'm like, aside from the Thanksgiving dessert thing, I've changed it up. So this year I did the Galentine's thing for Q1, and then we rented a dumpster around Earth Day, and we had that parked out in front of our office for the weekend, and we invited people from, at first we reached out to our sphere, but then we put it out to the public as well and just said, hey, it's spring cleaning time. If you're getting your house ready to sell, or you're not feeling like a garage sale, or you just have some stuff to get rid of, we've got a dumpster. It's free for you to use. Come by. And then Saturday morning for 2 hours, we were there with coffee and donuts as well. So anyone who stopped by during that time frame, we could say hello to, but it was available all weekend. So it was kind of up to people if they wanted to come when we were there or not. So that was this year, Q2. And then we didn't do anything Q3. We were thinking about it, but it's a lot of work to get things every quarter.
It really is.
For Q4, we thought about doing renting out a movie theater, but we're leaning towards we have the Museum of the Rockies here, and we are interested in seeing if we can do like a planetarium show. They always do like a Christmas program. So we're leaning towards doing that and then inviting our clients to come to that and bring their families. So that's what we're thinking for this year.
So, Nicole, you've been in the business for 10 years and you have a pretty robust sphere, a lot of referral network. What about the agent that's relatively new, doesn't have your database, doesn't have your history of success, and they're an introvert too?
Yeah.
How do you suggest they meet new people? How do you suggest they start building their database? They don't have a bunch of people to invite to these events. They love your idea, but they're not where you are.
Right. Understood. I think answer's twofold. One of the answers, you're not going to like it as an introvert, but it is what it is. Open houses. Um, you're going to have to get out of your comfort zone at some point. Not for everything, but it's inevitable. I was doing 2 open houses a day when I started. And one, it was a great way to get in front of people and start talking about real estate, but it's limited time. People are
Yeah.
you're introducing yourself, you're talking about the house, and then they're looking through at the house. And maybe they will chat with you further once they've looked at it, but it's a very limited window. So it really helps you hone your conversation skills with total strangers and figure out what is important to people in real estate. So I think that's really just an important piece. I'm sure not every market is going to be the same with attendance at open houses, but I really do think that is a super important piece for new agents is doing as many open houses as possible, putting yourself out there, meeting a bunch of people. It's just going to make things easier. Even if you don't want to have a conversation, you're going to have to at some point. So that's inevitable. Um, Something that I did as a new agent was starting my own biz to biz chapter.
Mm.
So I'm sure there's more than just biz to biz at this point, but biz to biz had several chapters in our area, but there wasn't one in Four Corners, which is the west part of town for us. And so that's where I was living at the time. So I reached out to biz. I was able to start my own chapter, and I think I had somewhere between 15 and 20 people at any given time. And it was just a bunch of different industries. We met once a week for an hour, and that was a really great way. It kind of goes back to the hostess thing. There's an agenda. You have a certain amount of time to get things done. There's a curriculum, I guess, of how much you need to cover and how much time you have to do it. And so it was structured enough that you weren't just trying to figure out what to talk about. And then we'd bring in presenters. And so it was just a great way to learn about other industries and meet people. And then after COVID happened, some of the chapters dissolved or got too small. And so we ended up doing an offshoot of our own like monthly referral group. So that was very helpful for me as a new agent, getting to learn other people in the industry or vendors that could be affiliated. And then join groups that you have interest in. So I have been a member of the Kiwanis Club for years now, I think 7 or 8 years. I get a lot of business from that club, and that's not why I joined it. I just wanted to be a part of my community. When I bought my house, I was looking for somebody or a group that needed people. And that was one of the ones that was recommended to me. So I went and sat in at a meeting, and I've now been there for I think 7 or 8 years, and I just really enjoy the people. And outside of that meeting, our paths don't intersect. Like we're all very different. Some of them are retired, some are they're just totally different industries. But in that room, we all get along so well. We have multiple events throughout the year, and a lot of business has come from that group. And it's an easy way, once again, has an agenda, a certain time frame. So if until you're comfortable with the people that you are now meeting, it's a great way to meet people without having too much pressure on needing to talk about yourself too much.
Yeah. I'm getting the sense that you like structure.
I sure do.
You like structure.
How could you
So
tell?
we got a question from the audience. I think it came through real quick. So I think it's from Lee. Lee Schonbart. Thank you. Hey, Lee, nice to see you. Lee wants to know what time of day you host your open houses and what day of the week. Is there a particular day that you suggest over others? Knowing that you're in a totally different market, totally different
Right.
state, but
So what has been most successful for me, it used to be Sundays from 1 to 3. That just in the past year or two, I've shifted it from to 12 to 2. And I have found more people are coming to the 12 o'clock time frame than later. But it also helps if you're doing two, you could do 12 to 2, 2:30 to 4:30 and still kind of be in that realm. I've tried Saturdays and I've tried Thursdays and Fridays. And Sunday has just been more successful every time. So that's what I've been sticking with.
Okay.
I think the moral of that story or the guidance there is try a bunch of different days because I think every community is quite unique, right?
Right.
And so you just need to find, like I know that here in San Diego, some communities Saturday is the perfect day and Sunday is dead and vice versa.
Yep.
And so I think it just depends on what's happening.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Right.
Right.
Christina, can you put up, there was a great, I think it was more of a comment from
Yeah.
Liz.
From Liz Milan.
Liz is thanking you for Lolo's. She says it sounds great.
Yeah.
She says she also loves small gatherings. So she loved
Yes.
your idea about your galantines, your flower social. Um, she also understands volunteering and connecting in small groups. She likes to stay physically busy as well because it reduces her stress level. Many introverts find shallow social banter difficult, so she tries to stay away from situations that encourage that. So you
Yep.
must have really been an introvert if even just doing an open house caused you stress. Nicole.
I definitely, it just puts you out of your comfort zone. Now it's fine. It's just part of it. But when I was a new agent, it was more of, I think, the combination of being new to the industry and talking to total strangers. You don't want to show that you're new. So
Yeah,
it really helps just kind of grease the wheels and being able to have conversations with random
yeah.
people.
Nicole, what your culinary journey was your pursuit to be a pastry chef?
I originally thought I wanted to have my own bakery, and then I did a stage at a bakery, and I realized, nope, don't want to do that. Like,
Got
not
it. Okay.
ideal.
Understood. I find that a lot of I find that a lot of uh, pastry chefs love that kind of structure. I mean, everything's got to be weighed, everything's got to be
Right.
precise,
It's a
and they
science, not
love
an
kind
art.
of working by themselves, right?
Yeah,
Quiet and versus the craziness of a kitchen,
right. I
which
think now I'm getting a little bit better at that balance of being a little more go with the flow, but
yes.
I'm an oldest child and I'm type A, so it is what it is.
I get it. I get it. Would you mind sharing with us some of the questions that you ask in your intake
No, this is much.
questionnaire? That'd be really interesting to
Yeah.
see as my co-host here is getting a battery pack changed out because it canceled on you.
Yes, no problem. I can actually pull up the whole thing and read it to you, but I ask things like, do you have any kids? If so, what are their names and ages? Do you have any pets? So along that same thread, I ask what your favorite coffee or tea order is. I like to know that, mainly one, because it kind of tells you a little bit about somebody, but also on closing days, I always stop at the coffee shop on my way and I just get whatever they put in there.
Yeah.
Instead of asking, hey, do you guys want a coffee? I just get it.
Yeah.
So I like being prepared. Um, so that has been helpful. Sorry, I'm trying to
That's
pull it up
okay.
here as I talk. I ask if you had to live somewhere else in another country and and it couldn't be somewhere that you've been before, where would you choose?
Oh.
Bucket list concert. Uh,
Hmm.
what would be, if you could curate any meal, what would it be? Your favorite food kind of thing. Let me
Of
see.
course, there had to be food on that list.
Oh, of course. I need to know. What's an annual event in the area that you always have to attend? Let me see
So
here.
these are truly not related to real estate at
No,
all.
this is
Not at
But I can
learning.
see how this, again, it's a good segue into, okay, now tell me about your house. Tell me about your
Right.
ideal home. Where,
Well, and
where, what are we looking for?
it gets the conversation going, but then it also gets me talking more so that they feel like I'm human too.
Yeah.
So it you find commonality and it's I think just beneficial all around. Um, First question I ask is your preferred method of communication, email, text, call. I try to be I'm a little sarcastic, so I try to put a little bit of my personality in there. So um, that keep that in mind with my questions. So ask them their birthday, kids' names and ages if they have them. If they have pets, what are they? What are they? And what are their names? What's my go-to drink order at your favorite coffee shop? What's your favorite local spot or activity? What's your newest hobby and what's your oldest hobby? what event in the area is on your calendar every year, bucket list concert. If you had to live in another country for a year, but it couldn't be somewhere you've been before, where would you go? And
Hmm.
I have to move the computer so I can see. If you could instantly have any skill or talent, what would it be? If you could curate the menu for your perfect meal, what dishes would be on it? What's your favorite form of social media? And then is there anything that you want to know that we didn't already ask you? So those are
Interesting.
all of them.
I think
That's amazing.
if an agent would typically do that, they'd probably stop at like, what's your pet's name?
Yeah.
And they wouldn't have gone any further on
Yeah.
that list. So
Mhm.
good job, Nicole.
I'm
What's the
a little
coolest,
nosy.
what's the coolest gift that you've given as a result of knowing this deeper information?
Oh, um, I
A
don't.
bucket list concert ticket, of
No, I
course.
know. I'm
I have
thinking,
I have gotten like rodeo tickets or tickets to we have an event here every year. I think it's this weekend actually called Sweet Pea Festival and it's very artsy. And so if somebody mentions an annual event, I like to get them tickets to that. So I've done rodeo tickets, I've done Sweet Pea. Um, I've sent people to dinner before for their anniversary. They mentioned that in there.
oh, so this is not just about like a closing gift. This
No,
is your database for ongoing
Yep.
touch things always and forever.
Yeah.
these are their unreasonable hospitality. This is the wow.
Yes.
This is the
Yeah, it's
wow
not just
throughout the
closing
year.
gifts by any means. I try to tailor them, but it's more, I'm instead of one big gift at the end, I want to do little things. So I send every seller when we go live with their property, they get crumble cookies delivered. I bring flowers when we do media. It's also very telling about the client. Like I've only had two people not send me a thank you for the cookies. And both of those clients I did not enjoy working with. So I think you kind of get some insight into how people operate
Yeah,
based on how they receive gifts. And so, yeah, I do it throughout the transaction and then after. So it's just, and I also really try to listen, like when we're showing property, what are they talking about? Like I have a closing coming up. There was a little like jungle gym in the house, and they have two young kids, and those kids wanted to play on that jungle gym the whole time we were there, and they wanted to buy it from the people, but they were keeping it. And so that's what my closing gift's going to be, a jungle gym, because that's what those kids
Amazing.
love the whole time they were there. So just listen to what they're saying and don't wait for them to finish so you can talk. Just listen to what they have to say, scribble it down if you're going to worry, if you're worried you're going to forget, and tuck that away for later. Because then when they see that you gifted them something they talked about, they feel seen, and people just
right.
feel seen.
So,
That's
Nicole, I have two questions for you. Have you read that book, Unreasonable Hospitality?
I have not. I have it written on a I have like an active book list on my phone of things I need to read and it's on there, but I haven't
Put it
read
to the top of your list.
it. Okay.
Bring it to the top of your list. You will not regret
Are
it.
you a paper book person still?
Occasionally, like when I'm on vacation, I want a real book,
Yeah.
but right now it's very much audiobooks. I have a 45-minute commute right now, so I listen to a lot of audiobooks
Okay.
and occasionally on my iPad.
Okay. Well, you'll like Will Guidara, and so please put it at the top of your list.
Okay, will
Second
do.
question. Now that you've been doing this for 10 years and you've been doing it really, really well, I love all your touch points. I love how you've incorporated this into your business. Are you less of an introvert? Can we take you off of that list?
I will always be an introvert, but I'm more comfortable being outside my comfort zone. I really truly treat it like I have no safety net. I have to do this. I have a 4-year-old daughter, and I no one's coming to save me. Like even though I have support and family, I
Right.
have to treat it like I'm here to
Yeah.
for everything. So I need to do what it takes.
I like what you said at the beginning of the show. You don't have to go out of your comfort zone for everything in your business. If you set up your business that way, I think you're going to fail. If you push yourself in every element of your business, but you're going to have to do one or two things that are going to push you.
For
But
sure.
make sure that all the other stuff are within your comfort zone or within your authentic self.
Right.
And
You
then you're
can't
more likely to do it.
exactly, 100%. You life is about growth. And if you're not growing in your business in some capacity, you're dying. And so if the growth is self-growth as opposed to just growing the numbers part of your business, I still think that's a win.
Yeah. Oh.
Amazing, as
Yeah.
always. Nicole, thank you so much for your time today. Hopefully we'll get up to visit you in Bozeman sometime and enjoy, not when it's so much fires
Smoky.
happening up
Yeah.
there, right?
July is a
Smoky.
great month. August is usually pretty smoky.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Well,
Thank
you
you
can
so much for
come
having
visit
me.
us as well. You're
yeah,
always
Oh, I
welcome
will,
here in San
absolutely.
Diego.
we're in San Diego. We'd love to have you sit right here in the studio. So
Take his job. Come visit me.
Oh man.
you're required to be an extrovert
There you
in
go.
order to be.
I don't know if it's going to be a good show if two introverts are here.
Well, it's all about how you are at the end of the day. Like when I go home, I'm staying home. I'm not going out again. And so it's like I like to be home. I can do it for work. I can be out there all day, but when I get home, that's how I'm
Yeah,
recharging, I guess.
there
That's
you go.
amazing.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, Nicole.
Thanks,
Yeah, thank
Nicole.
you so much.
All right.
Be well.
All right, everybody. Well, let's get to our quotes so you guys can get on with your day and maybe implement some of the great things we learned today. Huh? How's that?
Absolutely.
So we got two quotes because I couldn't make up my mind.
Okay. Good. It's kind of like the way I eat dessert. I'll just take all of them.
Why not have the bread pudding and what was the other dessert she offered?
The pumpkin crumble.
Pumpkin crumble and bread pudding.
Yes, I love it.
So I thought the first one we'll start with Dr. Seuss.
Yes.
You have to recognize the hat. Today you are you. That is truer than true. There is no one alive who is you-er than you.
I love that.
Right? That's what Nicole's doing. She is being her authentic you.
Yes, right.
Her authentic self.
That's right.
And then a little bit more sophisticated, a little bit more serious, we have Oscar Wilde. Be yourself. Everyone else is already taken is a famous saying. So be yourself.
Yeah.
Sam, you are truly you, and I appreciate you. I appreciate all of you. Thank you for joining us today. Next week, we have 1031 exchange.
Yes.
And I know you've all heard it before. I know you all are expert in 1031 exchange, but you're going to want to join us because these folks are going to teach you a little something about how to approach it a little differently, how to build your business around 1031 exchange.
Yep.
There was a new regulation that happened last summer if you weren't paying attention.
Yes.
And so you want to make sure that you can incorporate that into your business as well, right?
Absolutely.
All right. Thanks, guys. Thanks.